Hey, it's Sri here. In today's video, I'm going to answer 3 really important questions that are most likely going to be coming up for you if you are going through a separation or have been separated for some time. Now, before we dive in, I just want to let you know that going through a separation is extremely painful and it creates a huge amount of uncertainty on the inside and, fear around what's going to happen with the family and finances and just your future as well. And so I want to let you know that if you are going through that situation right now, my heart goes out to you. I know how painful it is. I hear about it regularly through clients, and I really want you to know that there are ways to actually improve, whether that be healing a lot of the wounds inside of you or actually being able to work through the challenges in your marriage as well. It's really important to not give up hope and to seek out the necessary help that you do need. So if you are in a situation where you are struggling and you just feel like all hope is lost and you're not sure what to do next, then I'd love to see if I can help you in any particular way. So if you are needing to chat to someone, then all you need to do is just click on the link below where it says book a call with me. Just click on that link, choose a time that works for you, and then I'll contact you at the scheduled time just to see if I can help you and how I can serve you through my program as well. Make sure you hit that subscribe button below and click on that bell notification as well, so that every week you get access to my latest videos teaching you about how to actually heal from within, how to learn more about male psychology, and really how to heal from infidelity as well. Now, if you've recently been separated, or even if you've been separated for some time, often there are so many questions that are going through your mind because there's so much uncertainty that's coming up in your life. And any sort of separation, especially when you've been married for a long time, what it does is it creates a complete shake-up of your world. And when you're in that place of confusion and not knowing what those next steps need to be, then what happens is we start to look at what I call the micro rather than the macro. We start to look at really, really small day-to-day tasks rather than spending the time and energy putting the focus on the bigger picture. And so what happens is on a daily basis, I'm hearing questions from clients and people who engage with my work about, the little things that need to be discussed and thought through, or how to interact with my husband and so on, as opposed to what I need to do in the long run in order to create the healing that I need to, whether it be in the marriage or within yourself as well. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to talk you through 3 really important questions that come up a lot in my work. And I'm going to provide you with some answers to those so that you're able to move forward and navigate yourself through a really, really difficult situation during the separation. Or it can help you even if you are together, but it's just not quite where you want it to be at the moment. Now, the first question is, if we are separated, should I be intimate with him? Now, the simple answer to this question is that it depends. Now, you might be sitting there thinking, well, thanks for the breakthrough answer, Sri, but we have to look at the individual circumstances in terms of the marriage, the other person, and also within yourself as well. And so some people are able to differentiate between the physical and the emotional, so they can still maintain a physical relationship, but not allow the emotion to get involved in it because they have their own physical needs and so on. Other individuals who may be a little bit more sensitive on an emotional level, if they engage in intimacy with their husband and then afterwards he just packs up and leaves, or he goes and engages intimacy with you and then suddenly he's distant and cold, then that can sometimes throw individuals into a spin, and it makes them feel even worse and even more sad and just feeling this complete despair in terms of the marriage and their own individual situation. So if you're someone who is a bit more like that, then I'd probably encourage you don't engage in any intimacy, because I think it can actually result in more problems and more challenges for you. But if you are someone that is able to maintain a strictly physical relationship and you have your own physical needs and so on, then that's totally fine. It's really about the individual themselves. And so this is where it's important to have a greater level of self-awareness. And so over the years, how have you been if he's been intimate with you and then straight afterwards he's got onto his phone and started engaging in work or whatever it may be, versus maybe having cuddles and connecting at a deeper level? Has that triggered you a lot? And if it's triggered you, how low have you gotten in those moments? Because if you are someone who has a tendency to get really low emotionally, then I'd encourage you to set a boundary on that one. If you do have the ability to maintain, like I say, that physical relationship, and you're not going to get too emotional, if it's, a strict boundary that you guys engage in sex and then that's it, then that's totally your call as well. So it very much is horses for courses. And so you want to be aware of that. Now, if you're someone who's really unsure about any of this, then just pop a comment below and I'll do my best to be able to help you. Just provide me with a little bit of information on what's actually going on, and I'll give you some guidance and some direction on what exactly you should be doing in terms of the intimacy side of things. So that's the first question I hear a lot. The second question is, how often should I be communicating with him? Now, when you're separated, what can happen is, because you're very much in survival mode, you're going to analyze every little thing. You're going to feel like, oh, should I be messaging him today? Should I be messaging him tomorrow? Should I be sending him messages about cute cats and dogs that we used to share quite a bit? Should I send him photos about our family? Should I, ask him questions? Should I be saying hun or babe, or what should I call him? Should I call him by his name, and so on? Now, rather than frequency of communication, what I really want you to focus on is authenticity of communication. I want your communication to be authentic and to come from here, from your heart. Not from fear, but to come from your heart, come from love. So I always say that if you want to communicate with your husband, if you want to send him a couple of messages, that's absolutely fine. Because we don't want to get caught up in that game playing that I so often hear a lot about. In terms of, oh, maybe I'll message him a couple of times today and then I'll just distance myself completely and get him to come towards me or whatever. See, to me, that's all just game playing. I want authenticity of communication. That's what I believe in. Because I focus on matters of the heart. I'm not focusing on matters of, games or the ego or anything like that. It's about matters of the heart. So if you want to operate with the heart, then you've got to be authentic with how you want to communicate. So if there's a part of you that wants to send him a message and say, hey, hun, just want to let you know that I was just thinking about you the other day, just remembering some of the beautiful times that we had, and I genuinely hope you're in a really good place right now. If that's something that you genuinely want to say, and it's coming from a really good place, then say it. There's nothing wrong with saying that, because once again, it's coming from the right place. It's coming from a place of love. But if you're saying it because you're like, oh, okay, if I say something and then hopefully if he realizes how much I love him, then he's going to be pulled towards me or something, that's not the right intention. That's only going to throw you more into a spin, and the chances are you're not going to get the outcome that you're actually looking for. Whereas when we're able to send communication from a loving place, it means that our intention is right, and it also means that we're coming from a place of almost detachment, because what we're doing is we're saying, hey, I'm sending this because I'm just genuinely giving to you, but I'm not expecting anything in return. I'm not sitting here going, I need you to reply to me and so on. We're just putting it out there with really good intent, with pure intent, and whatever comes our way is perfect. So it's always got to be with the right intention. And I just see far too often that people engage in communication for all the wrong reasons. And then they wonder why their partners are slowly distancing themselves as well. And it goes both ways as well. This comes from both men and women. This is not specific to women or anything like that. It's a human being thing. So we have to make sure that our intent is pure with it. And the other key point I wanted to raise is that out of sight doesn't mean out of mind. I'm a really big believer. You see, if you've been together with your husband for, a decade, 2 decades, whatever it is, he's not going to just be like, look, I just have no interest in her whatsoever. The chances are you probably would have heard at some point, I love you, but I'm not in love with you, and so on. So there's obviously still a connection there. And I can tell you right now that even in my own life, even when I separated with my ex, even though I felt like it wasn't the right relationship for me, when we separated, I was gutted. I was absolutely devastated at that time. I was really struggling in a lot of ways, even though I wanted it, but I was really struggling. So, when you're in those moments and your marriage is kind of on the rocks and you're not really sure how frequently to communicate, the fear is that if I just stop communicating with him, then he's going to forget about me and he's not going to be interested in me. He's going to go off for someone else and so on. But what I actually find is that if your communication is pure, If you're able to be in a really balanced and centered place as best as you can, you focus on your own healing, then there's something magical that just happens as a result of it. Because A, when you communicate from that place, it's going to be really authentic, and people pick up on that as well. You know, I want you to think about, like, when you get text messages from people, there's a certain feeling behind it, right? Like, there's just a certain energy behind it. And some people send you messages and you just get a little bit tense, and then other people send you messages and you just feel a warmth to it. And I really want you to remember that a lot of the time when people communicate via text, because you can't actually physically see them in those moments, people pick up on a certain energy around that. And I really believe this. I am very spiritual. For those of you who know me and are connected in my work, you know that I'm very big on, universal principles and so on. And when we have a really good intent, when we're pure with our intent and we have really positive energy with us, then it's going to have an impact on other people. And I can tell you now that, there have been times when some of my clients have not communicated with their husband for a month, 2 months sometimes, and then they've ended up coming back. Why? Because they've focused on their own shifts. So try not to get too caught up in the frequency of the communication. Get more focused on the authenticity of the communication and the intention behind it. Because if it comes from a loving place and a really caring place and a compassionate place, then the chances are you're going to have a greater impact on him than if you're coming from a place of desperation when you're like, oh no, I have to get through to him. I'm so afraid that if I don't communicate with him, then he's going to leave. So I'm going to just keep chasing him up and checking in. And it's not the right approach. But as I've said, really important to just be authentic, to be real. That's what connects people. That's what people are drawn to. So very, very important to take that approach. And the third question that I get a lot is, should I just pursue the divorce and just get on with things and move on with my life, or should I actually stay? Now, if we just think about this question here, what we're basically saying is that we need certainty and clarity around how to move forward. Once again, that's a very normal thing, very, very normal. But what we want to be doing in this situation, when we're asking this question, we have to ask ourselves, how comfortable is uncertainty for us? You see, some people love uncertainty. Now, you might think that's a little bit odd, but a lot of people do love uncertainty. Variety is the spice of life, so I love trying different things, whether it be different jobs or restaurants or whatever it may be. But some individuals really struggle with it, and they need that control. They need that certainty in those moments. So the first thing we have to ask ourselves is how comfortable we are with uncertainty right across the board in our lives. Because if you're someone that struggles with uncertainty and you need control, and you might be a type A personality on some level, then what happens is it's actually not about the marriage. It's about the need for certainty and control in those circumstances. So therefore, there is actually an incredible opportunity here to be able to improve and to grow and to get more comfortable with that uncertainty. When you get more comfortable with that uncertainty, what it means is you start to make peace with what is. You start to make peace with the actual realities of what's actually happening right now. And you're not trying to force the issue. And the reason why this is important is sometimes in certain marriages, what can happen is that, you have a scenario where the man is completely uncertain of what's going on as well. He doesn't know what he wants to do. He's completely clueless as to what he wants. And so what we need to recognize is maybe there's an opportunity there to say, you know what, I'm going to take a little bit of time out. I know I don't have the control and the certainty in the situation, but I'm really going to do my best to put it in the hands of the universe or God. I'm going to put it in the hands of the universe or God, and I'm going to trust that the outcome that is needed will occur in the long run. And when that moment comes where I get some sort of intuition or impulse to do something about it, then I can take the action at that point. But if it's just a case of I just don't know what to do and I'm freaking out, I'm really uncertain about everything, and therefore I'm just going to go and pursue the divorce or the separation or whatever it is, then it may not be coming from the right place. And that's what we've got to once again ask ourselves. What is our intention behind it? And how can we grow through this situation as well? Now, Michael Jordan, in his book, he talks a lot about how he let the game come to him and then he imposed his will when the moment came, rather than trying to control the outcome from the outset because he was afraid of how things might unfold. There's a very different intent there. Let the game come to me. Let the game do what it needs to do. Let it flow. And then when the moment came, boom, he went through and he'd win the game more often than not. And we have to recognize that there is a real power with that. And we think about the universe, we think about God, we think about how planets revolve around the sun, we think about how acorns turn into oak trees, we think about how an embryo turns into a baby over 9 months. You're not sitting there controlling every little thing. Through the process of pregnancy, you conceive and then you trust that over that 9-month period, a beautiful baby is going to be born. And that's what we have to place our faith in as well. The same power that exists that can take care of those things can still take care of our life and our marriage as well. We have to get more comfortable with uncertainty and not controlling everything. And when we do that, then it's amazing how much more free we are in life. It's amazing at how much more peace we find. And we're not living in stress and tension all the time. We're allowing things to just flow in a better way. So if you are sitting here thinking, look, I don't know what to do, I'm unsure about whether I should go ahead with a divorce or not, you need to ask yourself, what is the intention behind it? What am I actually looking for at the deepest level? Now, I appreciate that some of these things that I'm talking about are, pretty challenging topics, and they're going to be challenging the very core of who you are. And I don't do that to create any negativity in you. I do that because I want to free you from that pain that you're feeling every single day, because it's tough. Relationships when they're not working well are really tough. And so, if you are in a situation where you're struggling, you don't know what to do, and, putting some of these steps into practice is a difficult thing, then, I'd love to be of service to you through my program, The Authentic Relationship System, which is an incredible program which can help you with specifics on how to create the shifts from within, to help you to get more comfortable with uncertainty, and ultimately develop more faith and trust that things are going to flow in the right direction, that no matter what, you're going to be okay. And to me, that's just the greatest gift that we can have. And what I often find is when people get to that place, mentally and emotionally, that's when the relationship or the marriage really starts to flip and things start to move forward in a beautiful way. So if you are in a situation where you are needing some guidance, I'd love to be of service to you, and all you need to do is just click on that link below in the description section which says book a call with me. Just click on that link, choose a time that works for you, and I'll contact you at that scheduled time just to see if I can help and see if it's a right fit for you. If it is, then I can work through all the details and get you on board and be able to serve you through an amazing process. If you're not quite ready to hop on a call with me yet, that's totally fine. What I'd encourage you to do is in the description section, there's a link to my masterclass training where I teach you the 3 steps that my client Sarah used to be able to save her marriage in less than 60 days. She's an amazing woman, created remarkable shifts in her marriage in a short space of time. So you can learn the 3 steps, and I know you'll get a ton of value from that video as well. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you've liked it, make sure you hit the like button below. If you want to get more videos like this, make sure you hit the subscribe button. And let me know what your biggest takeaway is from this video as well. I always love getting the comments, so just in the comments section below, just write your questions or takeaways, and I'll make sure I respond to every single one of them. And if you want to learn what to do if your husband has left you for another woman, just click this video above. And if you want to learn how to heal after he's cheated, click this video above. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you in the next video.